So the only thing is, instead of talking about truth and falsehood, we can only talk about problems and solutions. That is what. And that problem is what the Buddha called Dukkha. And the solution to this problem is what he called, what is today called the Noble Eightfold Path. So he gives a solution to the problem. And that solution is what I call a paradigm shift. This is a very interesting word, paradigm shift. That means a paradigm is how we see the world, how we think of the world, and how we think of ourselves. And that way of thinking is producing this problem. And so the Buddha's method of solving the problem is to start thinking in a different way. So these two ways of thinking is, one way is what is called existential thinking. These existential philosophers were thinking of a thing called existence. What we really have is what is called experience. Now, experience means when we see something, seeing is an experience. Hearing is an experience. Smelling is an experience. Tasting is an experience. Touching is an experience. When we experience, there are two parts we create. The two parts are called the subjective and the objective. You see, when I see this cup, the cup is an object that I see. But there is also what is called seeing. So there are two parts, the seeing and what is seen. The seeing is a subjective experience. What is seen is an object. It's an objective experience. The subjective experience, I personalize and say, this is mine. The seeing is mine. The object is something outside. So that is called alienation. The subjective experience is personalized and the objective experience is alienated. So when these things are, one is personalized, the other is alienated, I am also creating these two as existing. The cup that I see is existing. And what is mine becomes myself. So I am existing and the cup exists. And when I exist and the cup exists, I am creating a relationship. between myself and the cup. The relationship can come in the form of a desire, or it can come in the form of a hatred, or it can come in the form of a fear, or it can come in the form of a worry. That relationship is the suffering. So, the moment the existence comes into being, the relationship occurs and the suffering comes into being. Now, if I look at it in a different way and see it simply as an experience only, seeing is an experience. I don't have to personalize the subjective or alienate the objective. If I look at it only as seeing as an experience, there is no personality here. There is no existence here. And to change from existence to experience is to think in a different way. That is the paradigm shift. And it is by doing that paradigm shift that the problem is solved. Of course, this is not an easy thing to understand fully. But this is the awakening from the dream of existence. That awakening from the dream of existence is what the Buddha achieved. That is why he is called a Buddha. The word Buddha means one who is awakened. Normally people are sleeping. They are sleeping and dreaming that they are existing. So it is only when we have awakened from that dream and we realize that there is no existence. That existence is called bhava. And the freedom from existence is bhava nirodha. So this is why the Buddha says bhava nirodho nibbana. So what is called nibbana is the freedom from existence. When we have become free of existence, all suffering comes to an end. So this is not an easy job to understand that fully. So at least we have understood it to some extent. That is what ultimately the Kalama Sutta is trying to point out.